Part 66. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jung Word. Chapter 651. Chapter 651, Why did my husband become stupid after getting pregnant? If I can, I really want to take on everything for you. Lee Baiken has said this many times. Sunian even laughed at it before. But now, perhaps the pregnant woman is too fragile. Easier than usual to rely on others. Lee Baiken patted her back gently. However, although Sunian had morning sickness in this life, she had a good appetite. Doesn't look weak at all. Lee Baiken's complexion is getting worse day by day. When Lee Ji-eunhong came to visit, he was really shocked to see him like this. What's wrong with you? Why are you so haggard? What do you mean by looking like this? If you don't know, then you are still not easy to take care of. If you really think that my Nyenian is not easy to take care of, don't force yourself, just let me take care of you. Before Lee Baiken could speak, Sunian's voice sounded first, Dad, don't say that. Baiken has taken good care of me during this period. Lee Ji-eunhong, then why is he acting like this? Don't tell me. It's because of him. Let me come. Hey, I came with this attitude. This guy is really enough. Sunian quickly explained Lee Baiken's attitude these days. When Lee Ji-eunhong heard this, he couldn't help but sigh deeply. The reason why this is the case is that Lee Ji-eunhong thought of the past. Thinking of what Lee Baiken's mother looked like when she was pregnant, he couldn't help but walk to Lee Baiken's side and patted him on the shoulder. I was like this when your mother was pregnant with you, but you still have to adjust well. Keep your mind well, after all, Nian is by your side, what if you affect Nian's mood? When Lee Baiken heard this, his brows furrowed slightly. He knew this very well. But he is really a bit. Sunian couldn't help but sigh when he saw Lee Baiken like this. If this continues, I suspect he will suffer from postpartum depression. I wish it was me. Sunian. They say that pregnant women become stupid after 3 years of pregnancy. I have never heard of my husband becoming stupid after pregnancy. In fact, Sunian knew very clearly why Lee Baiken said that, but he still couldn't help complaining in his heart. But when Sunian didn't even realize that he was complaining, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Okay, don't say these useless words here. You might as well do something practical. For example, go now and don't hang around here with this unlucky face. Lee Ji-eunhong looked at it with disgust. Lee Baiken glanced at him. Then Lee Ji-eunhong motioned to Lao Shen to put the things in front of Sunian, and said enthusiastically, Nian, these are good things I specially asked people to find for you. The doctor said you shouldn't eat too much during pregnancy, Lee Baiken reminded from the side. This made Lee Ji-eunhong frown. What do you mean by this? You mean as if I don't understand. If I don't understand, then why are you here? From a certain perspective, if so, I have more experience than you. Lee Ji-eunhong couldn't help but sigh in his heart when he said this. Although there were so many servants at home and various professionals were arranged, Lee Ji-eunhong still felt that he had treated Sunian a little bit wrong. It would be great if Lee Baiken's mother was still alive. There was also a mother-in-law who told Sunian some things to pay attention to as a person who had been there. After all, no matter how good his father-in-law was, he was still a father-in-law. Under such circumstances, he always hopes to be nicer to Sunian and treat Sunian better. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jung Word. Chapter 652. Chapter 652. The old man's plan to capture the thief is to capture the king first. Sunian next to him laughed out loud when he saw the father and son. Just a joke. Lee Ji-eunhong still said, what this brat said makes sense. You really shouldn't eat too much during pregnancy, but you have prepared everything for me. I will find a nutrition expert for you. He will do it according to your body. It's a good arrangement. I'll make you fat and healthy, and there won't be any problems with your body. Okay, thank you, Dad. Li Jianhong sat for a while and then planned to leave. After all, he now needs to manage the company. You must know that since Li Baikan became independent, he did not hesitate to leave everything to him. Other old men are worried about what they will do if their sons take away their rights, but Li Jianhong has never thought about this problem. After all, when you get old, you still have to leave everything in your son's hands. If this is the case, then why not hand it over now and enjoy the blessings? I am really not used to taking over the company so suddenly. Baikan, take good care of Nian Nian. If you don't take good care of Nian Nian, if you let me know, then I will definitely not let you go. Sunian looked at the old man. In fact, she had long considered the man in front of her as her father during the two lives together. Now seeing that the old man was leaving, Sunian couldn't help but say, "Dad, you should also take good care of your health." Who would have thought that after Sunian said this, Li Jianhong snorted coldly, "How can you pay attention to your health at work? But there is no way. You made me give birth to an ineffective son. When your mother was pregnant, the company and the family, I took good care of it, and I didn't expect it to be like this now." After saying that, he walked outside. Looking angry, Li Baikan walked to Sunian and said, "Don't worry, the old man is smarter than me. He won't tire himself." Seeing the old man like this, Sunian felt really emotional. The old man is in really good health now. I think if nothing happens to Li Baikan in this life, he won't have as difficult a life as he did in his last life. Although the old man has experienced great storms, the pain of losing his son is still unacceptable to him. Sunian thought of his previous life. After Li Baikan died in his last life, the old man indeed wanted to support the whole family. But when the old man was young, he was very affectionate with Li Baikan's mother. Later, after Li Baikan's mother passed away, Li Baikan was his hope for survival. Even though he hurt Li Baikan from time to time, Sunian knew clearly that he really valued Li Baikan. Very heavy. When Li Baikan heard this, he thought of the old man he saw in his previous life. The old man in this life and the old man in the previous life can be said to be completely different. This little bit is good. Maybe you don't know, but he had a fight with Mr. Lin after get off work last night. Sunian looked at Li Baikan in surprise when he said this. Really, the Lin family is not piracy of your clothes, so I found the old man of the Lin family and dealt with him properly. This can be regarded as catching the thief first and capturing the king first. Sunian. With his spirit, I don't think there is anything wrong with his body, so you better not worry about me, old man. You can give birth to the child healthily, and the mother and child are safe, which is better than any words of comfort. Sunian laughed when he heard this. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich John Word. Chapter 653. Chapter 653, Concern leads to chaos. However, after finishing laughing, Sunian still looked at Li Baikan and said, "But the way you look now really makes me feel a little scared. I just want to vomit now. If you continue like this, then I really think you are not suitable to be by my side." Li Baikan frowned when he heard this. He also knows that his current condition is not very good. But he can't help it. The image of Sunian having a difficult childbirth in his previous life always appeared in his mind from time to time. Even though I repeatedly told myself that I had nothing to do in this life, I would definitely not let that woman Lan Min succeed, and Sunian would definitely be fine in this life. But when Sunian suffered from morning sickness, The powerlessness he felt next to him reminded him. Some things, even if you are alive in this life, the effect is almost the same as if you are dead. Sunian's face suddenly fell when he saw that Lee Baiken didn't seem to hear him. Are you listening to me? Listen, of course I listened. Sunian didn't want to talk to this guy if he said it so perfunctorily. He turned around and said, why don't you take care of me? At least I won't worry you so much. Lee Baiken. And God seemed to have heard Lee Baiken's prayer. Sunian really stopped vomiting. But, Lee Baiken vomited. That's right, it's Lee Baiken vomiting. Looking like you are vomiting what you eat? This frightened Sunian. I went to see a doctor immediately, but the doctor was talking about Lee Baiken's psychological reaction. Okay, I'm still worried. After the doctor left, Sunian looked at his pale face and didn't know what to say. She got on the bed silently, and then lay in Lee Baiken's arms. After giving birth to this child, how about I go get a sterilization? Sunian was slightly startled by the sudden words. Then she hurried to the man and hugged her tightly. I'm really afraid if it happens again. I'm really afraid that I won't be able to bear it. What are you afraid of? I'm afraid that you will feel uncomfortable. I don't want to see you feel uncomfortable. After Sunian became pregnant, Lee Baiken did think that if Mo Bao really didn't listen to him, then he and Sunian would have a lovely daughter, and it would be best if she could look like Sunian. Nian, a smaller version of Sunian. But now he has no such thoughts at all. Once is enough. Sunian raised his head and kissed Lee Baiken on the lips. Lin Na finally called Sunian. Mrs. Lee, how are you doing lately? Sunian curled up his lips after hearing this. I thought you wouldn't call me. How could it be? How could I not call you? I was wrong about this matter. I was really wrong. Even if a person in my company was too greedy about this matter, he saw that the sales volume of your clothes was good. I just pirate your clothes and sell them, but if it's wrong, and I won't push him out. Sunian really wanted to applaud after hearing this. This Lin Na really knows how to speak. Not only puts the fault on others, but also establishes an image of understanding and righteousness for oneself. It's really awesome. Mrs. Lee, I won't say anything to you no matter what you want to do to me. This is what I should do. If it were someone else, he might have followed these words, but Sunian was curious about how much ability this Lin Na had. Mr. Lin, if that's the case, then hand over that executive to me. On hand. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 654. Chapter 654. Lin Na is not simple. Sunian smiled as he listened to the breathing on the other side of the phone. Now that she knows that Lin Na is causing trouble, how could she not investigate? Josu's work efficiency was still acceptable, so he directly found out the instructions given directly by Lin Na, bypassed Lin's board of directors, and directly asked the factories and industrial chains below to start processing. The clothes she designs are simple, and piracy is also very easy. It would be okay if it succeeds, but if it doesn't, you can imagine what Lin Na is burdened with now. If she were asked to hand over a senior executive to herself now, and if Lin Na really found a random senior executive to take the blame, then Lin Na's situation in the company would be even worse. After all, Lin Na made a mistake, but she had to sacrifice a senior executive. The board of directors of Lam Group is not a vegetarian either. Mrsli. Lin Na's voice was no longer the same as before. Is this your apology attitude, Mr. Lin? Sunian interrupted her directly, her voice even harsh. Mrsli, it is true that we were wrong in this matter, but Mrsli, you should know how to be merciful and merciful. After all, this circle is so big. If it makes too much trouble, it will be bad for everyone. But you don't worry, if you tell me, Mrs. Lee, I will bear the impact of this incident on you and the losses caused. Threatening, Sunian's eyes were filled with a smile. Of course she understands this. If people in a circle do not have a certain ability to kill them absolutely and absolutely, they will leave a little so-called leeway for their opponents. She often did this in her previous life. But, now. So after Lin Na said this, she smiled, in a circle, Mr. Lin, what do you mean by this? You can't really think that I want to develop this company, right? This company was originally created by my sister and I. When did I join your circle? This company doesn't belong to me, and I haven't put in my hard work. Even if this company is bankrupted, or even taken over tomorrow, it will have no impact on me at all. When talking about this, Sunian he paused for a moment and said, but Mr. Lin, you are different. If it is not resolved, the crisis faced by your Lin family can last for half a year. If I find some navy, it may last even longer. Mrs. Lee, what you said is serious. It's not serious. The reason why I was able to create this popular model is not because of any particularly awesome design, but because I captured the emotions of consumers. It can also be said that what I sell is emotions, not products, so you can use this to attack you. For example, you just treat women who have been hurt by men like sheep. Sunian changed into a comfortable posture after saying this. Mr. Lin, if you don't believe it, then we can give it a try. Lin Na on the other side of the phone was silent again. She understood Lin Na's dissatisfaction. After all, the old man had just beaten her father, and now he has bowed to himself in the business world. How could the Lin family be like this? If that's the case, let's take a look. Sunian hung up the phone directly. After hanging up, he immediately called Josu. When Josu's call was connected, Sunian said directly, Josu, you go to the Navy company immediately and buy the Navy, and I will send you the plan later. Just follow my plan. Yes, ma'am. Since Lin Na came to provoke her, she should taste the price. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 655. Chapter 655. Mr. Lin, you are indeed not a simple person. Lin Na looked at the hung-up mobile phone. She didn't expect this either. Lin Na was so unscrupulous in the beginning simply because Sunian's information showed that she was a rich young lady. She didn't study finance in college. She married Lee Baiken right after graduation and had no so-called work experience. Although Sunian had Lee Baiken behind her, she felt that Lee Baiken had to be busy with so many things every day. Even now, Sunian was working under Lee Baiken. He was very favored there, but it was impossible for Lee Baiken to pay much attention to this company. Who knew it would end up like this? Do we really need to hire a senior executive? At this moment, the mobile phone in her hand rang. She quickly looked at the screen. If it is Sunian who calls, then we can negotiate the terms. She got a headache when she saw the word Dad on the screen. After answering, Lin Na has not spoken yet. The old man's question rang out, what's the matter with you? How did you get into the state by Li Jianhong's ghost grandson's daughter-in-law? If you want to live up to your expectations, Dad is counting on you. Lin Na really had a headache now. She knew that Li Jianhong had beaten her father. Actually she really didn't know what to say. Two men who are almost 60 years old fight every day. Let's fight. If we are so unsatisfied, we will lose. Dad, I know, I will definitely find a way. This Li Jianhong is really hateful. Even if he is a cunning person, he still finds a wife like this. It's really like a nest of snakes and rats. We are just too simple and easily bullied, so we are like this. Don't you knowing how ruthless that old guy Li Jianhong is, I don't dare to see you, Aunt Cheng, these days. Lin Na quickly coaxed her. It took me a long time to coax my old man. As soon as she hung up the phone, someone rushed out of the office. When Lin Na saw the people coming in, she thought of Sunian's decisiveness in hanging up the phone just now, and she couldn't help but become nervous. What happened? Mr. Lin, the negative comments about us online are really getting worse and worse. Lin Na turned on the computer when she heard this. Then I saw many people starting to cry and complain about being abandoned by scumbag men, but still being exploited by unscrupulous businessmen. What else can I say? Lin's eyes are all about money. Lin's stock price began to plummet, and various partners began to call softly, wanting to return the goods. Know that the goods have been made. Previously, Lin Na felt that Sunian was easy to bully and could not compete with the Lin family's channels, so she started making clothes in large quantities and planned to fully distribute the goods. If they were returned and unable to be sold, the goods would be completely ruined. Soon, the stock price also began to fluctuate. Seeing this situation, Lin Na knew that she had only one way to bow her head to Sunian. She took a deep breath and called Sunian. After the call got through, before Sunian said anything, Lin Na said directly, "There is no such executive. I did everything this time. If you have any problems, just come to me. I won't play tricks with you this time. I can bear everything." Lin Na can be said to be convinced. She lost because she underestimated Sunian and lost because of greed. Mr. Lin, you are indeed not a simple person. It's not simple. If it's not simple to be on time, then I won't be like this either. Lin Na sneered when she said this. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 656. Chapter 656, Need to think about how to develop the company. In fact, Sunian was a little surprised to hear that Lin Na admitted hi so directly. But I also admire this Lin Na a little bit. If it were someone else, he might actually push a senior executive out of so-called face. I can let your goods continue to sell, but I want 30% of the profit. Lin Na, who had already done it, was slightly stunned by Sunian's various difficulties. That's all? This Sunian is really not simple. Sunian posted on Weibo, "I actually don't think it's a big deal if other companies pirate our company's clothes. This dress is not a design at all. Actually, it's about a piece of clothing. It's more about my sister and I's feelings. The same goes for you guys when you buy this dress. So it doesn't matter whether you buy clothes from the Li family or the Zhang family. After all, my sister and I don't want to make a profit on these clothes at all. Our purpose, I think anyone who is a little smart can understand it. Even I'm a little happy. After all, someone has made a lot of XXX's a scumbag's clothes for us, and they even spread all over the country, hee. The same thing is true, the more important thing for a woman is to love herself. If you don't love yourself, then who else will love you? Sunian is so generous. If my design was stolen, I would definitely be to death. Ha ha ha, my focus is different from yours. Is she referring to as a scumbag or Huo Linyuan as a scumbag? I have to say, this sister is really cruel. If I were Huo Linyuan, I would really regret it. I regret letting it down. I really envy Sunian and the others now. If I had the power, I could kill my ex-boyfriend like this. It is better to be the daughter of a rich family. After all, if you want to deal with a scumbag, it only takes a matter of minutes. Just like that, the storm subsided. Under Sunian's control, the Lin family's channels matched their clothes. In this way, Sunian's company's clothes are also sold all over the country through the Lin family's channels. The company is also developing in a good way. Every day, the company planning department is thinking about various quotes. Some people even complain that if you don't have any inspiration, just fall in love and get dumped by a scumbag. Then you will have inspiration, and then you can go to the company to get bonuses. Sunian listened to Sun Ying'er's lively words. She smiled too. Nian, you don't know that our company is really booming now. I even think that if we work hard, we might become a big company. When Sun Ying'er said this, her eyes were filled with excitement. The excitement is not hidden at all. You must know that before Sun Ying'er met Sunian, her role was to marry and tie up another family, which would bring benefits. Even before, Sun Ying'er felt that she was just a precious vase. But it's different now. Sunian smiled when she saw Sun Ying'er doing this. But after he finished laughing, he fell into deep thought. She will know clearly that now it is just a so-called east wind. A clothing company, the most important thing is design. But when it comes to design, neither she nor Sun Ying'er know much about it. If you really want to vigorously develop this company, it is still a bit difficult. But I saw Sun Ying'er's eyes brightening. Sunian felt that she still needed to think carefully and figure out how to develop. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jung Word. Chapter 657. Chapter 657. I suddenly felt a little envious. Because I haven't heard Sunian's voice for a long time. Sun Ying'er looked at Sunian. When she saw Sunian's thoughtful look, her excitement suddenly cooled down. Oops, how could I forget that Sunian was still pregnant? How could Sunian worry about those things now? Nian, I said the wrong thing. Don't think about it now. Your top priority now is to take good care of the baby. Don't think about anything else. Don't think about it. Sunian retracted his thoughts and smiled when he saw Sun Ying'er like this. I'm fine. But I really don't have any inspiration now. This company should take its time anyway. Take your time, yes, everything must be done slowly. Sun Ying'er didn't want to continue talking about this topic, so she found a new topic. At this moment, Li Baikan passed by holding a baby. Sun Ying'er. What is he doing? Sunian was also shocked. She also did not expect that Li Baikan would appear in the eyes of outsiders dressed like this. She always thought that Li Baikan was just teasing her. Li Baikan heard this and stopped. I'm practicing taking care of my children, what's wrong? Take care of children, Sun Ying'er was almost shocked to death by these words. Of course she knew that Li Baikan handed over the company to the Li family after Sunian became pregnant, but she did not expect that Li Baikan was at home, practicing taking care of the child. Yes, there are still a few months left, and I want to practice more so that I won't be in a hurry after the baby is born. In Sun Ying'er's eyes, Li Baikan is the kind of person who can call the shots and direct the country in the shopping mall. She really doubted that she was dreaming now. And I'm still having a very ridiculous dream. Sun Ying'er found her voice. Shouldn't we hire a nanny or a nanny? It's true, but I think my child should be taken care of by myself, so it's more obedient. Li Baikan thought about it carefully. Originally, he owed Mo Bao a lifetime of debt in his previous life. God finally gave him a chance to make up for it. How could he lie to others? Of course, he felt that if he personally took care of Mo Bao, then Mo Bao would definitely listen to him in the future. For example, don't compete with him for Sunian. Mo Bao, let me tell you directly, my dear father, I want to eat shit. No matter what. It would be better for him to take care of the child himself. If I were Lan Min, then I would definitely regret it. I would regret to death that I would let such a good man go. Sun Ying'er couldn't help but sigh. However, after Sun Ying'er said this, Li Baikan frowned. Sister, if you really regard me as your brother-in-law, then don't say such insulting words. Sun Ying'er also realized that she had said the wrong thing, so she quickly laughed twice. It's not her fault, it's really a bit. She has also known Huo Linyuan for many years. Huo Linyuan is quite arrogant. To Huo Linyuan, women are just his accessories. Even if he really loves Lanji, then it may not be possible to achieve this. When she thought of this, Sun Ying'er suddenly had an idea. She looked at Li Baikan and said, "Baikan, can I take a picture of you like this and post it on WeChat Moments? As long as Lan Min can see that, I want to make Lan Min angry. I know you are no longer interested in Lan Min, but Lan Min has always been hanging around in front of Nian Nian before, and I want to vent my anger." After saying this, he looked at Li Baikan anxiously. I saw a gentle smile on Li Baikan's face at this moment. "Of course, but you don't have to designate Lan Min to watch it alone, you can just let everyone watch it. I don't think this is a shameful thing." Sun Ying'er. What should I do if she is a little envious? End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich-Jong Word. Chapter 658. Chapter 658. Li Baikan, what should I do if I suddenly want to kill this guy Lu Jing? Sun Ying'er originally just said it simply. Who would have known that Li Baikan not only cooperated, but also provided suggestions for retouching, yes, provided suggestions for retouching. Even the copywriting for Moments was Li Baikan's idea. Copywriter, I am honored to be a witness of love. Sun Ying'er posted the post to Moments, and the likes and comments came immediately. Sun Ying'er's cell phone kept ringing. And Sun Ying'er understood the mood of these people. For example, if you are cruel and cold-blooded in the mall, you are like this in private. If you were not there, you would not believe it even if you beat yourself to death. But now it is really happening in front of me. When Sun Ying'er and Li Baikan were discussing things, Sunian was by her side the whole time. When she saw Li Baikan like this, she really didn't know what to say. She quickly dispelled her emotions. I'm really a little curious about what Lan Min will look like. You will definitely be so angry that you will jump to your feet, as the saying goes, there is no harm without contrast. Although Sun Ying'er had no idea about Huo Linyuan at all, it was not bad to make Lan Min feel uncomfortable. She picked up her phone and randomly clicked on her circle of friends. The next moment, her expression changed. He looked a little speechless. Lu Jing really has too many scenes. Hearing this, Sunian came close to Sun Ying'er. I saw Lu Jing's message. There is nothing to envy in this. If I marry my beloved woman, then I will definitely treat my beloved woman as my ancestor and do much better than Li Baikan. What can I say, this Lu Jing is really not an ordinary liquor. Just when Sunian was sighing, the phone rang. She took out her phone and looked at it. The call was from none other than Lu Jing. Sunian was a little curious as to why Lu Jing was calling him now. She answered the phone. The moment he pressed the answer button, Lu Jing's excited voice rang out, "Aunt, my dear aunt, please reply quickly. If you think I am more affectionate than that guy Li Baikan, just reply. Then what do you want me to do? It will be all right. What do you want to do? If my guess is correct, you must be reading this WeChat now. If you see me being so affectionate, you will definitely want to cherish me. Aunt, my good aunt, you just need to do me this favor. Whatever you ask me to do, I will do it, really, I swear." Sunian and Sun Ying'er really didn't know what to say after hearing this. Sunian said in a helpless tone, "Hey, I really don't know how to say hello to you, Lu Jing. Call you stupid? You must be a little smart and know how to cherish this opportunity. Call you stupid? Do you think I can? The two of us pave the way for our former love rivals? You have known us for so long, when did you feel that the Buddha's light was shining on our heads? Auntie, you're not smart either. Do you really believe that guy Li Baikan? He doesn't love when he says he loves you. and Lan Min is his first love. As a man, he knows very well that the plot of a man's first love is very important. Yes, so if I really get married, auntie, you don't have to worry about this problem. Lee Baiken, who was watching the show next to him. At this moment, Lee Baiken was thinking about how he should kill this guy. How about quartering the body with 5 horses? Can consider it? Lu Jing, who was on the verge of death, continued, "Aunt, you are a smart person, you should know what to do. After all, we are aunt and nephew, but we are a family." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 659. Chapter 659 Lu Jing's Advice. Lu Jing stood in the office with a smile on his face. At this moment, he really felt that he was extremely smart. Hang up the phone. He opened the circle of friends. But the next moment, Lu Jing's expression changed. Because Sun Ying replied in disbelief. Why don't you believe it? Why is this happening? He just spent so much saliva and said so many good things, why is Sun Ying so uncooperative? Lu Jing immediately replied, it's true, and Sun, if you really don't believe it, then I can prove it to you. I can prove that I am more affectionate and better than Lee Baiken. But Sun Ying replied, haha. For a man who wants to be strong all his life, how can he tolerate this? It is absolutely intolerable. Lu Jing immediately walked outside. Unexpectedly, when he opened the door, he saw Lan Min. Seeing the anxious look on Lu Jing's face, Lan Min subconsciously asked with concern, Lu Jing, what's wrong? Why do you look so ugly? What happened? Yes, something happened, and it's a big deal. Lan Min was obviously shocked by these words, and quickly followed Lu Jing and said, what happened? You look so bad. If something really happened, tell me. Although I don't have much ability, but I will definitely try my best to help you. If I really can't help you, I'll be by your side and be your confidant. This makes Lu Jing stopped. Seeing Lu Jing stop in his tracks, Lan Min suddenly felt happy. You should know that Lan Jing was originally worried about Lu Jing's recent preference for Sunian, but now the opportunity has come to him. He can just take advantage of this opportunity to let Lu Jing know who cares about him the most in this world. Then he saw Lu Jing said angrily, just now I left a message in Sun Ying's WeChat circle of friends, saying that I am more affectionate and better than Lee Baiken, but I didn't expect that Sun Ying would actually laugh at me. I, Lu Jing, am the most affectionate person in my life. What I don't like is being laughed at by others. I have to prove in front of them that I am better than Lee Baiken. That's it, that's it. She really can't keep up with Lu Jing's brain circuit. However, when she saw Lu Jing who was about to continue walking forward, she came to her senses and quickly grabbed Lu Jing's hand. Lu Jing, where do you want to go? You want to go find Sunian and Sun Ying? Lu Jing, well, what's wrong? Then can you take me there? After all, I have been brother and sister with Baiken for so many years. Now that his wife has a child, it would be really unreasonable for me not to congratulate him. Lan Min also knew very well that it would definitely be uncomfortable if he went alone now. But she just wanted to go. But Lu Jing looked at Lan Min with a look like a fool. Bo, why are you so stupid? With your relationship with Sunian, Lee Baiken might really let you in, and if you impulsively attack Sunian, what should I do? When Lu Jing said this, he looked serious. Anyway, if I were Sunian, I would definitely not want to see you. Jian'er, you are too naive, but fortunately you said this in front of me. If you said this in front of others, they might think you are a fool. Lu Jing, don't stand in my way to get beaten. End of this chapter. The vicious female supporting character's character collapsed after her voice was eavesdropped. Author, R.O. Wich Jong Word. Chapter 660. Chapter 660 Good guy, logic is not that powerful. These words really almost made Lan Ming so angry that he was beaten. Lu Jing, why did you say that? Do you know, if you say that, I will be very sad. Lu Jing fell silent and frowned. Lan Yan, who was already a little aggrieved today, felt even more aggrieved when he saw Lu Jing like this. She asked Huo Linyuan after seeing Sun Ying'er's video. But Huo Linyuan gave her a blank look and kicked her out. This really makes Lan Zhi couldn't help but think, if, in the beginning. At this time, Lu Jing's voice sounded again, I have tried to be tactful before, but you didn't understand and didn't take my words to heart. As a result, you had an accident when you went out and made a joke. There is no other way. Jian'er, just like I said just now, it doesn't matter if you are embarrassed in front of me, I only have you in my heart. Even if you are embarrassed in front of me, then I won't feel anything, but you are an outsider. It's not enough to be embarrassed in front of me. What do you mean by being so uncomfortable? In your heart, do I have no qualifications to say this? These words really stopped Lan Min. I don't think so. With the relationship we have, of course you can say whatever you want. When Lan Min said this, Lu Jing immediately beamed, I'm scared to death. I knew you didn't think so. How could my Min'er be such a fussy person? Okay, I'm in a hurry now. Go find Sunian and Sun Ying'er, I'll leave first. Lu Jing strode away after speaking. He, a man who wants to be strong all his life, must prove himself. When Lu Jing came to Sun Ying'er, she suddenly had an ominous premonition. And son, I know that no matter how much I say, you will never believe me, so I decided that from today on, I will prove to you that I am also a perfect man, and even better than Li Baikan. Sun Ying'er, what's wrong with this guy's brain? So in the next period of time, I will stay by your side and prove it with actions. Prove it with actions. These words really made Sun Ying'er's premonition even stronger. I will take care of you more thoughtfully and better than Li Baikan took care of Sunian. Sun Ying'er. Take care of? Just like a boyfriend taking care of his girlfriend, I have to prove that I am better than Li Baikan, and the best man in the world, no one else. Now Sun Ying'er really wants to kill the man in front of her. Very seriously, I want to kill you. At this moment, Li Baikan's gloomy voice sounded, young Master Lu's goal is great, I really admire him, but I'm not a fool, how could I let such a thing happen? The cold tone made people feel a little cold all over. Lu Jing turned around. Just watch Li Baikan unbuttoning his cuffs and walking toward him. You, what are you going to do? Don't mess around. There is no harm without comparison. If you really do this, then my wife may think that I am not doing a good job, and she will be in a bad mood. You must know that my wife is pregnant. If she is in a bad mood, then it may affect my children, and if it affects my children now, it will be a lifelong matter. Lu Jing, good guy, this logic is really not that powerful. End of this chapter.